Hey guys, this is Johan with the FIRE Realty Team, and this is part two of the how I make 100K in cash flow a year in Metro Detroit. And part one, we talked about cash flow and kind of some overview of the properties. This one, we actually go a bit more nitty gritty in terms of I got actual addresses here. We're going to look at before and after pictures of the rehabs, the ROI, and the equity of these properties. So kind of give you that perspective. I'm actually also we're under contract on two properties right now. I want to go through those two because I feel like that's going to be kind of you know relevant in terms of what are you buying right now versus the last couple of years. And I think that some people will like that. Um, I guess to start out perspective, because real estate investing is heavy perspective. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? And if you take one nugget from this video, it is that when I get asked, "How are you finding good deals? What are you doing to find good deals?" You have a good wholesaler, all these types of things. 9 out of 10, 95% of these deals are MLS deals. Um, I picked the market, and Metro Detroit has the properties that fit that, and it's way easier to find them on the MLS because they're sitting right there in front of you. So um, I can find these deals. I found these deals, and I will continue to find these deals with the perspective of I'm just buying the best of what's available right now. So think about that. So there's 20,000 houses. We've already picked backing up. We've already picked the best market. Metro Detroit is the number one cash flow market in the country. Statistic. It is what it is. So we're already not missing out because there's not another market that's you're going to find $500 a door. We're already in the best market. So Metro Detroit might go up and down, but it's pretty much going to stay in number one spot. So if Metro Detroit's down, it means the rest of the market's down even more. So in terms of ROI cash flow. So we're already here. We've already picked the best market. Now we just got to pick the best of what's available. So there's 20,000 houses for sale right now on the MLS in Metro Detroit. Just narrow that down. Pick your grade location, B minus, C plus. That's a good price to rent to location ratio. There's going to be a couple hundred houses that fall into that category. Skim through those, pick out, okay, these are kind of like these houses. This is a good balance of price and everything that I'm looking for. You're going to get that list of 20,000 down to 10, 20. Pick your favorite 5, favorite 10, go look at those and buy your favorite one. Like that's all I'm ever doing. When I go to buy a house, I save up my capital. I'm like, green light, I can go buy a house. It takes me a week, like pretty much tops, because I'm not comparing to what I got last year or 2 years ago. I'm comparing to what's available right now. And I'm just trying to find the best / my favorite one right now. So that's how I'm finding deals. I'll find the deal in 2024 by just picking the best of what's available and not comparing it to what I could have or should have gotten in the past. Right now, interest rates are high. So I'm just accepting. I was getting 8.5% interest rates on these last 5 buys. Those numbers did not look like they did 2 years ago. I wasn't comparing to 2 years ago. I was comparing to everything's at 8.5%. So I actually, the agents on the team, we run them at 6%. It's just you have to benchmark if you're trying to compare them. We put the interest rate at 6% just to kind of see like where do these kind of fall in lines of where we were before. But the current cash flow is going to be lower, and it is what it is. So pick the best of what's available at any given moment. You're already in the best market. You've already picked a good price to rent location. That's how we're buying and finding deals. These are 95+% MLS purchases. The 2 I'm under contract on right now are MLS purchases. So let's look at the, and I want to say it again because everyone, it's a common topic. There's no gift money in here. There's no trust fund in here. This is my wife and I saving up out of college. We both paid our way through college, and then we worked full time, and we live off of her income, and we invest mine. And That's what this is. This is it. We've been buying for 3 or 4 years, but it's been saving for longer than that. And again, I mean, almost all the time we're putting down 20% down on these properties. We have recently occasionally started buying cash on the cheaper properties, and we'll talk through those numbers. So again, we're going to start current and then we'll go from the beginning. So we're in a contract on 8472 Westminster. There's a straight up address for you. So let's look at that property. This is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, no basement, no garage, and Warren. We have quite a few in Warren. It's a great price to rent. Taxes are kind of lower. C plus, sometimes B minus, depending on where you're at. North Warren is an A minus market, but those price to rents aren't quite as good. So, I mean, look at this days on market here. This thing was on the market for almost a year. It started at 83. This is why you don't overprice your listings, because then just sat and sat and sat, and they just kept dropping. Bad pictures, no basement, no garage. This is bad. This will need some work, but it's not a huge deal. It actually has a newer roof since then. So again, it kind of a really poor listing, bad job on this listing agent. Pictures are horrible. It's tenant occupied right now. And the tenant is currently behind a little bit. My strategy with that is I actually met the tenant at the inspection and they seem fine. I can kind of give them a fresh start and be like, hey, like, I'm going to take over. Your past debt's forgiven because it's not mine. I don't care about your outstanding $8,000. But there's more to this. I heard their story, and they just fell on hard times for like a month. I'm just going to tell them, start paying now, and if you don't pay, you're going to be right back in the same boat going to court again. And I believed them. I thought the situation is good. You can kind of use your gut and discretion a little bit as you get a little bit further along in this. But so they're paying like $950, market rents at least $1150 on this thing, but I don't really care. I got this. We're at 62,000 on this house cash. The seller really wants to sell by the end of the year, and so that was kind of the opportunity. It sat there forever, and that's what we're buying. If you look at this, I'm actually going to pull up. I mean, the numbers are still not insane. I mean, 62,000. It's cash, so your closing costs are way cheaper. I'm going to keep this tenant. So these are kind of really hypothetical $20,000 repairs. It's what it would basically need. It has a tree out back that, needs to go. ARV 105, again, in 12 months. You refinance it next year, 6.5%, hopefully. And bam, it's a 41% BRRRR. Like, I mean, that's not, I'm leaving $7,000 in this BRRRR, the BRRRR is a process. I have other videos on that. BRRRR is a process. It's not a result of infinite ROI. It's just buy it, fix it up, eventually refinance it, and your ROI is going to go up. You're maximizing ROI. You don't have to have perfect infinite ROI. No, not a penny left in the deal. That's not what BRRRR was. It's not what it's meant to be. And it gets taken out of context. So that's one of them. Now we're going to kind of flip it. The second one is actually quite a bit lower ROI. 3030 Alvenia, on the market for 20 days. You start at 130. We're at 120 on this. I like this one because it's big. It's a 3 1.1. It has a garage. It's on a slab. This garage is not functional. This is actually finished inside of there. Not nicely, but it's finished. It's brick. I don't own that many brick, but I like them. So you pay a premium for brick, which is what I'm doing here. Dated, but it's solid. I like nice green oven there. Does not show very well. But it's solid. My goal is I'm not going to go complete modern on this. I'm gonna leave the doors brown. Just gonna freshen it up as good as I can. I'm gonna leave some of this oak in here, which I normally don't do, but it's just in good shape. So I'm gonna change this to stainless. It's gold. That'll help a little bit. Put a new faucet in here. We'll glaze this white. This will just get flooring and paint and a new fan. Done. Gotta get rid of the carpet, red carpet. You get flooring and paint throughout. That does 85% of your work almost all the time. We'll just clean this up. I like changing our toilets, water toilets are just pressure wash this driveway and clean up these edge lines, which these aren't bad, but you'll be shocked. You'll see the end photos eventually on this thing. And ARVs on this is higher, 155 plus. But again, it's big. We're at 120. But I put it in a BRRRR calculator just because I'm going to get a high interest rate right now. So I'm going to refinance it. But look at this. This is my BRRRR, and I'm talking about 12% ROI on the refi. I'm leaving 25 grand in this, so I'm still calling it a BRRRR. It's a BRRRR because I'm following that process, and I'm going to refinance this because 25 invested is better than $50,000 invested. It's going to take 25 grand down plus a $20,000 rehab. I'm going to be in it for 50K. At least I get half of that back. I can go buy another house with that 25. So again, it's to get a chunk of that capital back. And for me, I'm heavy doing it just to get a lower interest rate eventually. I'm going to probably wait almost 2 years to refinance this. So again, kind of optimistic, hoping I get a 6% at that point, and I'll sit on that 6 for a long time then. So kind of two different styles of deals right there. Earlier in my career, I'm kind of going a little bit heavier Westminster style deal. Right now, I'm like, I want to pick up a couple brick houses and don't take that as you need to buy brick. I own like 2 brick houses. So that's what I'm buying right now. MLS deals, nothing crazy. My numbers are going to be a little bit better, easier than half of you guys because I self-manage. So I don't have property management in that calculator. I'll also go through analyzing deal maybe in another video. This one's already going to be beefy. So 12-mile Southfield. Let's pull that one up. Oh, that was my first house in Orville. I bought this one for 112, and I did all the work myself. Maybe it only was because I did all myself. It was just labor, so it was like 6,000 in labor, and that sold for 143. Made like 20 some grand. I was like, whoa, real estate's where it's at. That's kind of where I got hooked. I did that in Ohio, and then I moved to Michigan. So this Southfield is my first primary residence in Michigan, and this is what I bought: 103,000 on the market again for 185 days, 3-1, 12 miles. 12 miles it's a busy road, kind of loud, but at the time I was living in a separate house from my fiance at the time, and didn't bother me none. 103,000. I think I did show videos or pictures of this one on the first one, so I'm going to kind of blow through this one. This was like a $15,000 rehab. But this thing's a monster. Right now for $1,600 with two $50 pet fees, so $1,700 a month on a 1,000. It's a 1.7% deal. Bought it in 2019 with a 4.5% interest rate. It's just a cash flow monster. I have $75,000 in equity in this. We glazed this. I talked through this one of the first ones, so I'm going to move on. But numbers: 103,000. Purchase price 20%, $20,000 down. Closing costs, rehab, 1,700, $75,000 in equity. Look at this equity number. I'm going to like total money in 500,000. So that's a couple years. It's half a decade of savings and spending an entire salary. That's how much we've invested into this portfolio. Look at the equity. If I sold the whole portfolio, I'm at 1.2 million. So we've doubled our equity and could put 1.2 million in the bank if we sold the thing. I ain't selling because I'd much rather have the 100 grand a year. But someone tells you Metro Detroit, not an equity appreciation play, they're crazy. Because think about this: everyone's talking about buy your appreciation in California. Yeah, I'm gonna dog on those markets. Everyone's talking about buy your appreciation in a West Coast town or wherever. Look what happened this year. Those are the markets that dipped 10%. Metro Detroit is up 5% year over year in 2023. Fact, Metro Detroit weathered this small recession better than those West Coast towns. So why is it? Because it's affordable housing. Like people are after affordable housing right now, and Metro Detroit has that. So like those high markets are getting hit harder and first. Austin, Texas, they're down like 20%. So if you bought appreciation in Austin, Texas, you're down 20%. Versus Metro Detroit, you bought for cash flow and you're up 5%. Like I'm saying when I preach too, I have a whole portfolio here. So I'm biased, but I'm also doing it. And also it's worked. So, okay, 18501 Centrilia, $73,000 purchase. I wish I could go buy 20 of these houses right now. But I can't. I'm just going to show you a real short clip of this one. Carpet, paint. A couple more seconds. Got the kitchen. Okay. I mean, it's all right. Tenant was paying $800 a month. Look at this red brick. I want to show you guys the after pictures of that. It's one of the things I'm kind of proud of. It's my wife's idea, not mine. But this red brick, ugly. Okay, cool. So 73,000 on the market again for a year. No one wanted it. Why didn't anybody want this? Because there was no pictures, and the tenant was paying $800 a month. Market rent for this thing was at the time was $1,350. Now it's $1,450. So tenant paying under market rent. There was no pictures on the market forever. Agent's hard to deal with, and I was like, it can't be that bad. Bought it, inspection revealed it was not, in fact, that bad. So clean it up again, mow your grass, edge your edge lines, pressure wash your driveways, just clean up all landscape, get rid of landscaping. You don't have to do it, just get rid of it. Get clean lines. This is not professional photos. I do professional photos now. You can get away with it on certain properties. LVP, paint, white trim, bright appliances, white kitchen cabinets. I'm actually kind of getting away from white kitchen cabinets. It's just not very forgiving if you're painting over wood grain. If you're doing white on white, great. If you're painting over wood grain, I'm going to go do like a blue or new fan. We left this backsplash. Probably, I don't know if I'd do that now, but it worked. Painted this. Wow, doesn't that look sweet? Like, love it. This is just like a panel on here. It's not real brick, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, paint, faucet, left this floor. I don't know. It worked. I was actually a little bit better at keeping my rehabs cheaper kind of in the beginning. Now sometimes I get a little bit lazy and just kind of want to redo everything and just like high ROI. Do the things that matter. Don't do the things that don't. If you're really trying to maximize your ROI. So again, we kept this rehab at 15K. And so in the earlier stages, I don't use a GC. I don't want to pay that 10% premium. It's not that hard for me. FIRE Realty Team, we have a long resource list. You can pretty much GC your own stuff just by calling off this resource list, and it's cheaper. You can vet them, you can do it, but it's work. It's some effort. So call a handyman, call a painter, and call an electrician for a couple things, call a plumber for a couple things, and you do really keep costs down low. Now I actually own the sister company FIRE Handyman, just kind of because the handyman was one of the hardest pieces to find, as someone who could just do honest, transparent. Like if you guys invest, what you get a $10,000 bill and it says one line item. It's like, well, can you break that down for me? And they never do it. So that's what FIRE Realty Team or FIRE Handyman very transparent, every single task, dollar per hour, time materials. So I use that now in these later rehabs, but in the earlier days, that's how I was doing it. When again, we have that resource list to do that yourself if that's what you're looking to do. So right now for 1,300, sign a 2-year lease. I'm actually kind of shifting to a lot of month-to-month leases. You're at the risk of someone moving out early, but I get annoyed with some tenants sometimes, and it's you occasionally get that tenant. Again, out of 24 doors, I have one tenant that I'm like, I wish I could just get rid of this tenant. And if you're month to month, you just don't resign. Whereas if you're locked in for a long time, then you don't have that leverage. So again, a lot of equity in this house. Sweat equity. I mean, that was forced. I mean, that's a $73,000 house, and it's worth 140. And this is kind of outdated. Some of these numbers I'm not gonna match the other list perfect because these are outdated. So this equity is actually higher. Same thing. If you threw property management in these numbers would dip a little bit. But again, these numbers are high because time in the game. They're 4 or 5 years old. So moving on, I'm gonna skim over some of these that I think are more applicable. 404 Walnut was a great deal. This was the one I mentioned last time. This was one that was not on the MLS. It had a client that like, hey, I need to sell this. No one else is going to want it. A really long list of city repairs. And you're talking, this is probably a little bit light here, $50,000 rehab. Only wanted to sell it to me, so I obliged, and ended up being, it's a good deal. 7068 Rivard. This is a great deal. This is I think it's my one other brick property. I think so. Just gonna kind of skim through this. This was the before pictures. Rough, man. I mean, that's feces right there. This is the backyard. Smelled like money, as they say. Let's go to the actual listing. So I don't know. It's on the market for 10 days. I don't think it had interior pictures. It had a tenant that was getting evicted at the time. But it was, again, I kind of liked it. It was big, 3-1, no garage, but yes, it had a basement. And oh yeah, $6,000. Someone bought this in 2008. 2013. Good for them. That's what I say to that. I'm happy they made $70,000 on me because I don't care, because I make a lot of money on this house now. So that's how it works. But rough is a good description. But we're renting this baby for $1,375 now. There it is. We had to redo all this. This was like a $4,000 job, but it actually has a railing now. I don't know if I have a picture. Did a railing just because didn't want something falling off of there. Your LVP and paint. It's 85% of the job. We just cleaned this up. I didn't paint these cabinets. Didn't change the backsplash. I think I ordered a new stove. No, maybe. Oh yeah, I think I ordered this in. Another one that just heavy needed cleaned. Put this shelf in. Painted this. This was paint. Paint and hardware. It needed new door handles. There were some holes in the walls. I should have cleaned that fan. That was a miss. I think paint. We did new carpet up here because that was what was really bad. Paint your floor, paint your walls, clean it up. Basement looks gorgeous. Always throw in nice LED bright bulbs in a whole house. do like the 4,000, 3,500K, not the soft white stuff. Just painted this fence, braced it up a little bit, couple spots, cleaned up the yard. There it is. Bought for 81,000, 2021. $15,000 rehab. So Rivard. 17,000, I guess, 15,000. It's a good deal. Cash flow monster. Interest rates low. The same house, you go to buy it, it's gonna be over 100K, higher interest rate. Rent might be in the 1400s, be a little bit lower, but would I still buy it? Yes, it would just be a lower number today. And then in 5 years, we'd be looking back on it, being like, oh wow, cash cow. 18722 Brady, Redford, $62,000, $15,000 rehab. It's renting out for 11. I think I'm up to 1150 now on this one. Good deal. Let's look at it. I'll do 2-1 small, no basement, no garage, on the market for 20 days, 63,000. I think it might be 4 pictures. I can show you a base off the after pictures. We did granite countertops, new kitchen faucet. This is panel backsplash. I don't remember if we painted these cabinets or just did hardware. I think we just did hardware. Tiny, tiny. This is like a mid-sized fridge. It's a compact oven, but it fit the kitchen really nicely. Had this island in the middle, so we just went with it, painted, put up new fan, granite. There's actually a stackable washer and dryer right here now. Had to do some plumbing to hook that up. We tiled this. New light fixture, new faucet. We put this up here when we painted it. Just, you've probably seen a common theme. The bathrooms all pretty much look the same. Kitchens all look pretty much the same. The kitchen sold this house, as well as just it being nice. Always do these. These are like $20 light fixtures. At this point, I have a very standard list that I work off. We use the same floor now, same paint, same light fixtures, same faucets. Everything's the same. Painted this deck, but Brady. Okay, a 22061. This is a. I mean, it's showing 42%. This is like pretty much a perfect BRRRR. It kind of depends on how you put in the numbers, you know, because like when you BRRRR, if you don't refinance for 12 months, it depends on what you put in the calculator because you're collecting rent. So if you're cash flowing, if you buy cash, you're cash flowing $500-700 a month. That's $7,000 after 10 months. So does that count towards, you know, money in or money back? So it really depends on how you put it in a calculator, but it's a cool deal because guess what? On the MLS for 78 days, and it was a perfect BRRRR in my opinion. Probably the only perfect BRRRR. I think there's one other one that's pretty close. But this is what I was looking at. 78 days, 90K at the time is what it was listed for. It's tenant occupied, Section 8 tenant. It didn't look like that when I went and seen it. It was a little bit rougher, but 2-1 with a garage, and it's big. This is a 3-bedroom square footage. So I was like, it's a big 2, possibly a 3. I like it. So the reason this is perfect because the tenants in there, they were paying 1,100 or maybe 1,000. I bumped them up through Section 8 to like 1,150 right now, and I didn't have to do anything. She was already in there. So all I did was buy this cash at 77. I was like, there's something's missing here. So 2-1 is too big. It refinanced. It appraised at like 110, 105 without doing anything. I bought it for 77. That was just one of those instant equity on the MLS for 78 days. Anybody could have just wrote the check for 77, made a phone call, and this appraised for 105, 110 in perfect BRRRR. So now it's worth more than that, 115. Cash flow is pretty much garbage. That's why the ROI kind of low, because 1150 rent, and that's only a 1% deal. It refinanced or it appraised at 105, 110, and only renting at 1100. So your cash flows hardly anything, but it doesn't matter because I pulled out all my money. I bought it for 77, refinanced at 105, so I got all my money back. So $98 a month, and I don't have anything in it. Kind of figure out how to speed this up a little bit. 1565 Oak. This is a, let me show the listing first. A duplex in Wyandotte. On the market for over a month. No pictures. Listed at 145 at first. And here's what got me. It was renting for 600 upper and 750 lower. This listing agent put this in the listing right up, that's what it used to be renting for. So like you do the math on 1,200 a month on this thing and it doesn't work. I was like, I knew market rents were over 1,000 for that thing, and look what I'm getting now. These are my leases. Well, technically, this is my wife's leases. This one's in her name. But so she's getting 1,200 a month. It has a bigger 2-bedroom upper. No, bigger 2-bedroom lower. We just painted this. We didn't try to do that brown trim. We just painted a white, new fans. Bathroom actually didn't need much. Its kitchen was the big one. Look at this kitchen right here. That is this. Look at this guy right there. Ugly. Now it looks nice. Just paint, granite. We kept the farm sink, put a new faucet in, new light fixture, new blind, fancy fridge because it's a bigger unit. We're trying to maximize bigger kitchen. Big common area basement, shared utilities. We have some in their name, some in my name, and we bill back like electric or something like that. Don't get caught up in splitting utilities and stuff like that. There's just always a way to do it. Your FIRE Realty Team agent can explain how to do it. It's just not a big deal. I'm not going to get into it for time. The upper unit is a 2-bedroom for $950 a month. So she's putting that listing $600 a month, and I'm getting $1,200 and $950. We are getting just kind of this is just an old house converted to duplex, and this thing's worth. I mean, these duplexes are selling. That thing will sell for $200K today. So, I had a long list of repairs. That rehab was ended up being more expensive than that. Today, when the initial rehab is that, but then you do a couple more things afterwards. 22041 Dante. This is a great example of a common deal. This is the one that I said that the client had this one and changed their mind on it, and I just said, well, I'll buy it. So they actually got under contract quick, and then said, we don't want this anymore. I said, I'm going to buy it if you don't. And 125,000. Oak Park is a nice location. No basement, no garage. These are generous photos in terms of when we purchased it. How nice it was, but it was a relatively light rehab. Paint the door red, clean up those lines, baby. Yeah. Probably should have painted this one. See how you can't patch paint, it doesn't look good. Still learning. Didn't have to do too much. Cleaned it. But a good one. 125. Didn't do hardly anything to this thing. Maybe should have, but I guess not because it rented out for 1,500 a month and it was making good money. This is a quad in Farmington Hills. It's a good deal. Time, just gonna skip it because it's kind of redundant. It's the same thing as the other stuff. Grabar, this is a good one. This is a great. These things are just all over the place. All right, so Grabar on the market for 50 days, 120. Um, this is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath in Warren. Yes, it has a garage. It didn't look bad, you know. His cabinets were ugly. I think I pegged this at like a $6,000 rehab. I ended up spending like 8,500. But you look at that, I probably shouldn't have. You know, again, sometimes I know what to do for high ROI. Do this, don't do this. Sometimes I don't do it that way, and still got to execute. So then we rented this for $1,450 with a $50 pet fee. So we're $1,500 a month on a $120,000 house that needed $6,000 repairs. We did 8. But we painted those cabinets. That's all we did was paint them. That's like $1,000, $1,200 job. New faucet. I think we had to do new appliances. Always do your hardware. I don't know why that tape's not gone. I had to do some rerouting of plumbing and washer dryer stuff. I'm starting to do not always put in a washer dryer, and I'm not actually seeing any difference. So we glazed this, paint, new toilet, probably did that new faucet, probably did that new shower head, probably did a new light fixture. I don't think we did the carpet. I think we just cleaned the carpets. New fans, new light fixtures are like, unless they're already nice, do them. High ROI. Cool. The next one is actually our short-term rental in South Dakota. So a quick little plug here if you're looking for an awesome stay in the Black Hills, get out in the woods, trail riding. This was just a fun buy, I guess. I mean, there's investing background to it. You know, when you get to the point of like, we can bring in a couple grand a month and cover a nice chunk of the mortgage and get this thing as close to break even as possible. So investing allows you to do that. This is some months this is a little negative, some months this is a little positive. So is this a high ROI play? No. I'll bet in 10 years though we'll be happy with the equity, and at that time the ROI will look pretty good. But sweet house, we love going out there. Like I said, hiking, trail riding. This is right off a trailhead. There's 1,000 acres of public land behind this that you can kind of just walk up to. Hot tub. Snowmobiling. Layton's Lodge. Go up on Airbnb. Cornell. Taylor. This is an this is I got these two red. This is when you put this in a calculator 7%, put the next one in a calculator 6%, and that's my numbers, no PM. So you could chalk those up as not good deals. I'm reluctant to say that because I like them. Like, I know it's super emotional, and I always say not to be emotional, but I like them, and I think it's numbers based because I think they're going to be good, really good long-term properties. They're both, it did a heavier rehab than I should have. And I knew that. So that's why my ROI on paper is low. But I was trying to set these up for maintenance free for a really long time. And I feel like I did that. But again, I'm showing you the numbers. So Cornell, Sigma was on the market for 128 days, probably because everyone else knew the numbers weren't going to be there. But I really like this location. It's hard to find a property here. Popcorn ceiling, some wallpaper. This kitchen was tough. That's where we spent a lot of the money. We gutted it and redid it. And when you're gutting and redoing like that, the bathroom needed gutting and redoing it. It's really tough without a huge margin to make those numbers work. So you got wallpaper is pretty brutal. Now again we're just covering up wallpaper because there's good modern looking wallpaper. Pulling it off is expensive, hard. So ugly. Running out for $1,500 a month now, and not ugly. I mean, we did some cool stuff and we learned a lot on this one, but we put these planks over the ceiling instead of taking off popcorn ceiling. A win, and we would do it faster and cheaper now. Um, got rid of all that mirrors and stuff. That was expensive. I probably wouldn't do that if I was looking for ROI specifically. But I was kind of just, I wanted this thing to be cookie cutter. And I forwent some ROI to do that. So LVP throughout, those nice lights. Same thing with the kitchen. I forewent ROI to just kind of get a classic, nice modern kitchen that I don't have to worry about for 40 years. But that hurts. That hurt the numbers on this one. I could have gotten 1350, 1375 with just kind of cleaning up what was there, 1400, and I chose not to. So this is tile backsplash, granite, brand new cabinets. I'm hoping to not have to touch this thing hardly at all. Stack washer and dryer. We had to kind of move the plumbing for that. This bathroom was big. So sometimes I'll say do what we do. Sometimes I'll say don't do what we do. And if you're going this route, which I do and sometimes will, just accept low ROI. That's a strategy. If you need to see a really good ROI number, then you're going to have to focus on just the high ROI numbers. Repairs. I like that one. I like the location. This was a big one. This is it for 17 days. Really beat him up really hard for this one. But justly so, the numbers still didn't work out. Oh, might be losing. I didn't lose my connection. If I did, I'm in trouble. Okay, no, just lost that one. I think I have these better before pictures of this one. This is that Inkster, that big one that I said. I mean, just whoa. But again, very big, double lot, fenced in yard, had a garage, attached garage. Look at this, yikes. A couple trees needed trimmed up. This brickwork needed love. Going fast, you might have to watch this again or slow it down if you actually care. But shed needed love, just yikes, yikes, yikes. Needed some plumbing work. But we made this thing like gorgeous. Trimmed the edging, pressure washed the drive, filled in the dirt, planted grass, redid this brick. I always add fill dirt, put plastic over your fill dirt, tamp down your fill dirt really hard, put some plastic over that, and put down mulch over top. Can't plant landscaping, but you're also not going to have water problems. Red door. Redid this whole kitchen. Expensive. The way we did it. And we know how to do it the expensive way, and we know how to do it the cheap way. And sometimes the paint, flooring, light fixtures, these all look the same, right? I mean, it's all the same stuff. So bathroom didn't need all that much. It needed light fixture, but I don't think we did too much. I think we had to like work this mirror situation. but you paint your fence, just spray it. It's actually pretty cheap. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying to get it to pop white. We painted this, painted the trim, and all of a sudden that looked better. We're getting there. We're getting there. 16227, good one to look at. I'm going to go really quick. It's just a classic. It's on the market for 155 days at 80K. We got them down to maybe 77. So small 2-bed with a garage, no basement. We leased this thing out for, didn't do much, just some touch-up painting. It had a tenant in it. It was really hard to get showings. It's kind of why it sat on the market forever, I think. So we just did a couple little things. You can pause these and go back if you care, or just look them up. 1150. Why it didn't go all in? It's very small. I wanted to rent this out quick. It's in the middle of December. We just did this, so I was you could probably, this one I probably could have got 1,200. Probably could have got a $30 pet fee and bumped this rent up to like 1,250. But middle December, I was just trying to decrease vacancy more than anything else. So Atlantic. I hope this is helpful. This is just a one-shot record and post. So Atlantic is $77,000 3-bedroom. But again, why? No one else wanted this thing. It was on the market for 200 days, listed high, no pictures, had a tenant. Tenant's paying $770 a month. And I haven't changed that yet. Like, you should. The strategy is to, I mean, they're on month to month too, I believe, that it could just be like, hey, rent's going to 1,300, but it's a $20,000 rehab when I do it. So I'm just like, why? You know, like, I got enough projects going on. But that's why you get that cheap, because underpaying tenant, no pictures, hard to get a showing. And it's a gamble. I mean, this is a deal right here. This is on the market for 5 days. I'm trying to remember how we ended up. Usually we don't move on that fast, but I mean, it's not that fast. 5 days, it's fast as 1 day. But I don't remember. This might have like fell through, but this ended up being, I spent 25,000. You should spend less than 20,000. It just paint carpet. I just did a couple extra things. See, like, just didn't show well. His pictures are more favorable than what it showed. So I think that's kind of why it didn't go super fast. But this is the deal with 130,000 ARV is going to be a pretty good. We had to redo this brickwork, put up a railing, paint the fence, did our grading deal, gutter extensions. We just painted these kitchen. We didn't do the back. We didn't do the, kept the, whatever that thing's called, countertop. New faucet. These didn't need done. I did them. Like, they needed a little bit of love, and instead of doing a little love, the guy was there and kind of upsold me, and I took it. But hopefully I don't get called back that they don't work. A long time. Cool property. I'm kind of not talking over this because you can see it. So if you guys want to look at the numbers, pause your screen and look at it. You can comment questions. I'll answer them. But $17,712, and that's another one that this one was interesting. 23 days on the market, 84,000. Had a tenant that was getting evicted. I hope you can see those photos. But I don't have the lease on this one. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna try to find this one, but we did the same thing. It just looks like all of our other properties now, at least for 1,400, 1,350. Could have gone for more, but no basement, no garage. So December, I didn't push the envelope. You know, you want max market rents, but sometimes you want to decrease vacancy. You want to run the numbers with max market rents because that's the potential of the property that you're buying. And we're always looking at this thing as like, how's it going to benchmark? How's it going to perform for 30 years? So run your numbers with 6% interest rate and max market rent and what's the potential of this thing. There's a bit more leeway than on your execution because it's like, well, I know that the property's good. I'm happy with the asset, and I know over 30 years I'm going to do really good. But this year I'm going to choose to reduce vacancy and list it cheaper and get it going out quicker or whatever. But I think that's pretty good. FIRE Realty Team. This is Metro Detroit. All the agents on the team are so fluent with these numbers. Most of them have the same type of properties. And this is just what the market has to offer. So Google us, www.firerealtyteam.com. And we're happy to talk about the market and build you $100,000 a year cash flowing portfolio. Good luck.